Hello and welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday, and we're reviewing Tragedy Looper that has just come out at Gencon.
It's kind of like a Clue crossed with Groundhog Day, isn't it?
Tragedy Looper allows a team of protagonists to go back in time to stop tragedies from happening. A mastermind will try to unfold these tragedies while the protagonists have to find out what patterns are hidden, what evil plots are at work, and what roles the characters are before they run out of loops.
Lots of stress as the mastermind, which is kind of fun, but kind of stressful. As a protagonist, there's definite satisfaction when you discover the roles, or, okay, that's the culprit who's triggering this incident.
You get a board made up of 5 pieces. You get cards that are characters and a deck of cards for each one of the protagonists and the mastermind. You get a deck of cards that are all the characters, and there are some extra cards. There are tokens of several different kinds, and 2 rule books, one for the mastermind, one as a player's handbook. You should read both of them if you're mastermind, and definitely the player's handbook if you're a player.
And the handy reference sheets
Yes.
are essential.
Oh yes, the deck of cards that is the start-off plots that you have.
I think it says in the rules too,
adventures.
if you're one of the protagonists, you don't want to read the mastermind's handbook.
No.
Because you don't want to find out what's going on or get too much information and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, the second half of the book is explaining all the ones that are in there. You'd know if you could remember. Anyway, yeah, like we said, this is a Clue variant. And you start up by setting up the board as you see it on the table there. And I know you guys are loving actually seeing stuff set up. We'll try to keep doing that when we get a studio back. And you set out some characters based on whatever one of the scenarios you're doing. Half of this book, half of the player's handbook, all just dedicated to making your own scenarios. So that there are 10 in this, comes with it. There are infinite number. You can make up your own, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is nice because otherwise it'd be like Betrayal on House of the Hill? Oh, you played that plot already or that storyline already, and now it's like...
There's a track here up to 8 days, up to 8 loops and incidents, and an extra track for if people have extra things that they add into them. And you go through the game. There's 5 steps in the game each day, and you go through the days. Once all the days are over, you go to the next loop, depending on things that happen.
Well, odds are the loop will end before you get to the end days. And the last day of the loop, because otherwise you'll win as the protagonist. The mastermind is trying to cut it short. And it's fun to foil the mastermind when you're the protagonist, where he's trying to put intrigue on a character and you forbid him from putting the intrigue with your card.
Every time you play through, you're putting tokens on... The mastermind puts a card on 3 characters or locations, and then the protagonists respond by putting 3 cards all together amongst them on location. If you're playing with 3 players, 1 each. Playing with 2 players, you'll pass one of the decks back and forth, 3 cards. You're playing 1-on-1, it'll be 3 cards from the mastermind and 3 cards from the other side. It's always 3 cards and 3 cards. Then they're revealed and resolved. Movement and forbids, and then everything else. Then we go through and do the abilities for the mastermind, and then the protagonists. And then the incidents will happen, if possible. And then anything at the end of day.
Quick breakdown the character cards. This top corner you have their
Intrigue.
Purple.
No, purple.
the paranoia limit.
Paranoia.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out myself.
This is Intrigue, this is Paranoia.
So this character has a paranoia limit of 2. So once there's 2 paranoia on it, this character, if it has any incidents, triggers, it will, because it has a paranoia limit. And in this corner you have the layout of the game board, and it'll have a highlighted where they start, and a black X if there's a spot on the board that they're not allowed to enter. And then you got your keywords on this one. You got student and girl. This is the Shrine Maiden. And in here you also have the goodwill abilities. Depending on how many goodwill tokens you have on the character, you may be eligible to use these abilities at the appropriate time.
And there are some abilities that on your cards and on the characters that can only be used once per loop, and they'll have a little, like a clock symbol or a timer, little blue clock symbol there. Yeah.
So the idea is you're time travelers, and you've gone back in time once and saw something horrible happen, and you're going to try and go back in time again and fix it. And you keep looping until either you fix it or it's just not fixable, you've screwed up that badly. So that's how the loop comes in effect. That's what the protagonists are trying to do.
Groundhog Day.
The mastermind is trying to make the protagonists fail. And make them fail as quickly as possible to give them as little information about who all the characters are. Because there's one other thing you can do at the end.
You can guess as a protagonist which are the roles of each character.
Yeah, it's the roles of characters. Like the plot, figuring out which the plots are going on during the game really helps you figure out which characters
are in the game.
which roles they're playing and stuff. Like, by depending on what the mastermind, I put it at Craig because he was a mastermind in the last game there, but what he's doing.
This is one section of the game board. It'll actually show the starting characters who start in this board, and if there's any characters that are forbidden from entering this spot, it'll say it there. And they also got this places for the intrigue to go to, because intrigue can be played on locations.
Oh, and I just noticed one more handy thing that I didn't notice until right now. There's a little icon in the corner showing which way the boards go together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In case you didn't catch up on the cards or whatever, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt your train of thought there,
No
Chris.
problem. Oh, my train got to its destination. It's all good.
I thought it was going to get derailed there.
So yeah, it's a really complicated seeming game, and your first time through, get a little Jamaican.
First time true.
If it's everybody's first play, you're all going to be referring to books all the time and looking at the sheets all the time, and the game's going to take quite amount of time while you loop through time.
Are you Jamaican your point?
We're running out of time.
But what the hell was I talking about?
Yes,
after you've played a couple times, you'll start to figure out what you're supposed to do. It's not going to get any easier to deduce. It's still a lot of waiting for the mastermind to do things that are going to give you information. But from the mastermind side, after playing it a couple times, now I've got all the rules down and I know how to do it. It's more about playing the other characters and trying to make sure they bluff a couple times or do things that they're not going to think about. And it says in the rule book for the protagonist, don't let the loop fail the same way twice. For the mastermind, don't try to do it the same way twice. Because they're going to be looking for what you did last time. So you got to do it different ways.
Normally you get like a folding board that has everything in the spot. Like these are all separate boards that just get aligned in a specific way. But I mean, I always think expansions. But you could easily replace these boards with different boards. It's kind of stressful being the mastermind because I gotta do this, but I don't want to give it away. And there's not a whole lot of time to bluff as a mastermind in this game. You can't throw a whole bunch of red herrings. You got to get to the point and do what you have to do, because otherwise you're just going to fail.
I like to try to mastermind sometime. I haven't been able to do that yet. Oh, I got to play the frickin' mastermind in Tragedy Looper, and I can't say I did great. I forgot one thing. I forgot to mention the friend when I killed her. Other than that, I think I just kept overcomplicating things with the incidents and the culprits. Kept forgetting that all you need is paranoia on the culprits at that day, and it triggers it. And I'm overcomplicating, thinking they had to be in a specific location. I'm looking up all these pages on different things here, and I was like, what's going on? Which ones do I need to win here? It's like, all I had to do was, get one of my win conditions on any particular loop, and it would have stopped the loop right then and there.
Yep.
Well, there was 3 things, I think.
Any
that
one of them.
particular one I had to do. I could have redone the same one, right?
Yeah.
Could have done that too, but I didn't. I was trying to do different ones. And unfortunately, these guys just happened to screw me up and figure a little bit out too. I screwed myself up a little bit too. But it just comes down to timing and just... once you played it once through, though, you start to figure it out. But I think I'll do a lot better next time around. As far as, the artwork and everything on here is great. It's all really nice and crisp and clear and colorful, and I think everything looks terrific, and I think the mechanics and the gameplay are great, and it's all explained very well in that player's handbook, and it was like Craig had no problem explaining it to me when we started playing and everything.
I will point out one thing about that.
What?
This this many pages up here are written down. Okay, now tell the protagonist this. Do this. Show them an example. It teaches you the game step by step. Tells the mastermind how to show the players exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Which, when nobody's played, that's great.
Yeah, I've read most of the player's handbook. I didn't get into the details of the cards and things like that, or whatever, or individual options for like creating plots later. But I didn't read the Mastermind's handbook. But like from what Craig was showing me there and everything, it does look like it's laid out pretty much the same way as that, and very detailed, and nice big print, everything like that, and just good pictures and graphics and diagrams. It's good.
6 days in a loop. There's the incidents that you know happens.
So we're playing Tragedy Looper.
Yes.
Tragedy Looper.
To all young women, there comes a moment when you need to fight. And now 3 such young women stand in the crossroads of fate. The mysterious something that has appeared forces the girls to make a choice. One of them is tired of playing the perfect student. Another sees the exhausted face of her best friend going home from a day at school. One thing is for certain. Without the protagonists, this will end in disaster for them.
So this game is
Super clue.
one versus many.
Yes.
Craig is playing the mastermind. Ken and I are playing the protagonists.
You can be the leader because you played it already.
Well, the leader will change hands.
Yeah, I know that, but to start off, you can be the leader.
I'll start off being leader.
Want to sneeze?
So we are trying to prevent bad stuff from
I told you I was
happening.
going to sneeze.
The only problem is we have no idea what's going on.
No,
Craig
that's
has
true.
Craig
Like
has
most
all
days.
Craig has all the information. Like
Yeah.
he thinks he has most.
He read the rule book. Yeah, he has all the information.
I have now read the rule book 3 times.
I read.
We're
I
hoping
read
to
most
play
of
this
it.
game correctly
Yes.
this time.
Yeah, I read some of it.
It is a very complicated game to get your head around when you're learning it. Once you've got the idea, well, it's not simple, but at least from the mastermind side, it becomes a lot more simple because you know what you should do for all the turns. Whereas you guys are basically, you got to guess what plot and subplots and what all the characters are.
Yeah, we're fucked.
See, we're not trying to see if Colonel Mustard murdered somebody in the studio with the candlestick. We're trying to figure out
I thought it was Jack.
Mr. Jack.
Had the candlestick.
All right, now he's putting down cards, making the characters move around. He's got to, if he wants to make use of the incidences that are all incidents on the days that they occur. So on this particular one, on day 3 and day 4 and day 6, something is going to happen. Yeah, it actually says on this card. So foul evil will happen on day 3, increasing unease can happen on day 4, and suicide on day 6.
What those mean are all listed on
We're
this
supposed to
handy
have
sheet
cards
down
to
here.
start.
You should have one of those decks of cards each, yeah? Well, Chris has 2, you have 1.
So as the protagonists, we need to stop the key character, one of these characters from dying, and we gotta stay alive ourselves.
Yeah. And any other basically it's, generally somebody dying at some point during one of these incidents is usually when it happens. Or you guys yourselves getting killed.
Yeah.
So how are we
And
going to play this? Like, talking or no talk?
Yeah, like I go with the rules, just the only thing you can't say is tell each other what card you played. Other stuff, the game is hard enough, you might as well just, we'll keep it from going on too long.
so we have 4 loops to try to either stop him from doing bad stuff, or we need to, at the end of it, be able to correctly identify the roles of each character, each key character in the game. And, we don't even know what's going on.
No, I have
At
a list
all.
of all the characters and what character in the plots and subplots they are.
So,
Now flip over to the other side, because we're using the full set on this one. So flip over to basic tragedy, so you've got all the info.
bad ending?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you get if 4 loops go and you haven't done it, the bad ending. People died, you never weren't able to undie them. So at any point, if one of the incidents happens and one of the conditions for them losing happens, that loop immediately ends. They don't get to play any more days. It resets and goes to the next loop. And they get very little information. They'll get, somebody died. They were murdered. New loop. They don't know who did it. And if they died, all they know is, you died. They don't know who killed them. All right, so It's a lot of paying attention and deducting and watching what's going on.
Yeah. So as we could see, Craig, well, you probably not see so well, Craig has put a card on the Shrine Maiden, the Girl Student, and the Office Worker. Certain cards, we'll show it in the component vision and stuff like that when we actually do the review. This is just the gameplay, so we're not going to get too much into it. We're just going to try to play. So, the leader I always play first?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll play the leader deck first. So he might be trying to be moving them. He might be trying to make them paranoid. We got to kind of guess possibly what he might be doing. Really, we don't have any idea, so...
Yeah, the first loop, they're basically trying to get information. It's unlikely they're ever going to survive the first loop. Unless, as the last time I played, I do something really wrong in the first loop and...
That's pretty cool. Never seen that character yet. Put that there. Go ahead, Ken. Put a card down. There's a particular card, the Forbidden Intrigue. If more than one of those cards gets played by us, they will cancel each other out. Which
you're going to put your second card.
And let's do that.
I can't see. You can put more than one on. Yeah.
Well, that's not our card.
No.
I can put one card on any character or any location. You can put a card on any character or on a location to counter mine, but you can't put a card on top of... You already played a card, you don't get to play more
I
than
get
one.
to play one?
Yeah.
Oh.
He plays three cards, we play 3 cards.
And then they're all resolved. Movement, and then forbids, and then everything else.
So we'll help him flip the cards over because, hey, why not?
Okay, any movement? No. So that's just an intrigue +1. And that's one of mine. And this is a goodwill +1, which is one of you guys. Paranoia +1. Ooh, goodwill +2.
And a paranoia +1 over here.
Paranoia is purple. They both start with P.
Can we play on the same character if we wanted?
You can play on the same character as me. You can't play with his... Where was the...
On the class rep.
Paranoia was
yeah,
girl student.
Yeah, and the
class rep was goodwill
Goodwill.
+2.
Want to finish that thought that you...
You can play on top of one of my cards, but you can't play on top of one of your cards.
That's what I asked.
Yeah.
Certain powerful cards are one time per loop. So these 2 cards are out for this particular loop. They cannot be played again.
So that's what happened. So, and then it is Mastermind special abilities, which I have to consult my chart. And I wish that they would make the script rather than on a card, on a sheet, so they could have all these things written here so you didn't have to keep referring and letting everybody know, well, I might have some Mastermind abilities because I'm looking at the damn sheet again.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they made bigger cards that was all in one place.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more... Like, I would like my win conditions on here, too, because I have to look at the book to see what makes me win.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's you guys using goodwill abilities.
Okay.
So, the class rep apparently can, once per loop.
Yeah, we'll return that goodwill to the hand.
That's what that does? Okay.
Returns a once per loop card to the hand.
Here. No, not the boss head. Give me one of these extra tokens. We'll just throw one of those on there to let them know that they use their once per game. Once per loop. Okay. Then, after that, incidents. There is no incident day 1, so we skip that step till end of day. Nothing happens at the end of day. No conditions are met because no incidents are happening. So, we move on and do the same thing again. So the extra deck would pass to Ken now.
Extra deck?
So, wrapping up for Tragedy Looper. The theme. You're time traveling and you're trying to figure out and you have no information. Oh boy, does the theme work for that. You start out this game, you haven't got a clue other than you know somebody dies, somebody committed suicide and some creepy stuff happened. Who did it and why, we don't know. But then, the butler. as things start playing out, you start getting that information, and then you loop through time and you get more information. It's like, wow, this really feels like we're going through time, doing the same thing again and figuring stuff out. Fun to play. Yeah. The first game or two might be a little difficult while you're learning, but after that, you're going to have fun with this if you like deduction games, or if you're on the side, you like to be screwing with everybody else, which really isn't usually my thing, but in this one I really did like it. Easy to play. After you learn it, yes, there is a bit of a learning curve, but after that, it is fairly easy to play. The hard part comes in the two teams where they're butting heads.
It's kind of hard to get your mind around the game, the first play,
yeah,
and maybe even the second play, but I think on the third play, I kind of got it figured out now.
Yeah, I've got it now. I was like, okay, this is fun. I give Tragedy Looper a 9.5. I would give it a 10 if this card and the relevant information from here and the relevant information from here were all on one sheet of paper. It would have been better that way, because then you're not... No, it would be a sheet about that big is all it would take. Because you don't need to put all this stuff. I just need to know what the abilities are and what triggers the end of game and what my setup is and how many loops and everything there are. I don't know why you're only telling the protagonist that information.
I enjoyed it. I wish I had been able to play the Mastermind at this point, but so I'm a little hesitant on giving a score. But as far as the gameplay works and the rule books are and the graphics and the quality of the components and everything like that, I think it's done really well. At first, when I first played, it was like, boy, I don't know how much information are we supposed to guess here and all that. I was a little confused, but yeah, pretty much everything. Yeah, it's like you need to figure out the roles of the characters. Like as the Mastermind is playing, you can watch what he's doing and try and figure out which plots are in play, and then figure out the plot rules, and that helps you figure out the roles of the characters and by what the Mastermind is doing to the particular characters in which locations and stuff like that. So there's some deduction and guesswork there, a little process of elimination. It is kind of fun that way, like Clue, and it's like Groundhog Day, where you get the multiple days to figure things out, and that's pretty cool. There's a little bit of betrayal on House on the Hill, because there are certain scenarios you can play through, but this game allows you to make up more scenarios, so you're not playing the same ones over and over again. Yeah, so the replayability seems great on it. It seems really well done and well thought out. But again, like I hadn't played the Mastermind yet, so I'm not sure how that'd go. But based on my play so far, I enjoy it quite a bit. I'm going to give it an 8.
Normally on the one versus many games, I like to play the one. I found the Mastermind pretty stressful. I think I might try it again, but it was kind of like it's frustrating because you want to keep as much information hidden. You don't want to be given away, but you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating. It's sort of like, okay, now they're figuring everything out. Oh man, how do I stop giving so much information? But on the flip side, the protagonist, it's really satisfying to, haha, that's the main plot. Aha, that's the subplot. Oh, there's a second subplot. Oh, that's that character. It's entertaining. I enjoyed that. It was satisfying. It was fun. It was a little frustrating. Like sometimes it's sort of like, okay, trying to figure out what cards he played on what characters. So there's a bit of bluffing. It's sort of like, okay, we know he needs to put intrigue on this character because he's messed us with us last time. So there's no way we can let him do it again. So we gotta prevent him from putting intrigue on that character. It's like, oh no, he's gonna try to move that guy over there. We gotta stop that. And meanwhile, he's like, haha, I'm not moving him over there, sucker. But it's a lot of fun. It's a cat and mouse kind of aspect to it. Graphics great and all. These are very handy.
Yeah, those sheets are a necessity for sure.
I mean, you almost want to keep notes on a piece of paper, but that might make it a little too easy for the protagonists. I give Tragedy Looper a 9. It's a very fun game.
So that's it for this episode of the Gamers Table, and we don't normally do this, but thank you very much to Z-Man Games for sending us an advanced copy of Tragedy Looper before it came out at Gencon.
That's awesome.
This was a great game. We took it to our regular Friday night game get together, and that was a big thing in the announcements that the guy who organized, and we're going to get a special pre-Gencon release game for everybody. So, and everybody there enjoyed it a lot, even though we didn't quite get it all right the first playthrough. But still,
there's definitely a learning curve to it, and a lot of stuff.
But it'd probably be difficult for the Mastermind more so than.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's the Mastermind that messes up.
It's a great game, and we're probably going to play it again as soon as we stop recording this.
Yeah, I want to play Mastermind.
Okay, so we're stopping recording now.
I need your help. My brother. He's missing.
Nah, so tell it to the cops, dollface.
I have nowhere else to go.
So tell me about your brother.
He works at the university, doing research for several of the professors. Internet searches for strange happenings. Things of that sort.
Strange happenings? What kind of strange happenings?
He's heading to the apartment. Should I stop him?
What the hell is this thing?
Don't make me come back down here again, Carmichael. You need to back off.
Look, Rach, I've got a case. And I need your help. I'm being tailed by lurking strangers and warned off the case by angry cops.
We contacted her, just like you said he would.
Very well. Perhaps we should lend Mr. Carmichael some assistance ourselves.